told my kids I'd go to jail if I was late. I had to hurry. Also, I don't have time for this. I am a single mom of 4, and it is wild. Right when I think I have 2 minutes just to wash my hair, Mom, do it, did you know? And they open the door to the shower. I almost feel like my kids have this radar where they know that I'm doing something really important. Yeah.
They have the Kobe shoes at the mall.
And then, oh, don't fall, please. Come on, you're giving me a heart attack. Don't mind my injured kid crying in pain. This is what they do to me. Thought I was gonna end up on an episode of Snapped yesterday. I don't know why I don't have it in me to be super strict. Neither one of my parents were strict. Chloe is a lot better at being stricter. I wish I was more like that, but, you know, I'm just one person and it's overwhelming. Just how do I go about doing this all? There are nights I cry myself to sleep, like, what just happened, you know, with all the moods and the personalities, and sometimes they're fighting and there's no one there. Like, it's me to play good cop and bad cop. So, like, that is definitely a challenge when, you know, something I'm working on is being a little bit firmer, you know. There's nothing that can prepare you. Any person that says, oh, we're waiting to have X amount of money in the bank. Oh, we're waiting to have a home before we have kids. Oh, I'm waiting for this job to come in before we have kids. I don't care how long you wait. I don't care what you're waiting for. You are never prepared, but you will figure it out. And it will make you so proud of yourself that you figured it out and that you got through the day. And sometimes it's nights where it's just, we are going hour by hour to see if we're going to.
The Kardashians are a prime example of multiracial white supremacy, a commercial enterprise posing as a family. The Kardashians are hell-bent on extracting financial gain from Black people and Black culture, even as they stigmatize, in particular, Black women through. Attitudes, values, norms, and behavior patterns, which contribute to cultural and social solidarity. Beyond these shared norms, there are norms outlining the major roles expected for each sex. These sex-differentiated norms give direction to the behavior of each sex in relation to the innumerable other demands of group life. Feeling like a single mother is different from being a single mother. The difference is that one is a temporary condition and the other is not. The association between single motherhood and child poverty became particularly salient for debates about racial inequality and poverty. Among the growth of single mothers in poverty, a disproportionate share were Black women, who experienced much higher rates of non-marital births than white women. This further re-energized the theory of Negro pathology, elaborated on by sociologists in the 1920s and 1930s, and later popularized by Moynihan.
Our guest today on Meet the Press is the author of the controversial study, The Negro Family, Mr. Daniel P. Moynihan. His report, prepared when he was Assistant Secretary of Labor, at first was warmly praised, yet has recently been sharply criticized. Mr. Moynihan, a professor of political science, is now at Wesleyan University. He was one of the drafters of the nation's anti-poverty program, and he has just been appointed by Mayor-elect Lindsay to the New York City Poverty Task Force. Now we'll have the first questions from Mr. Moynihan from Lawrence E. Spivak, permanent member of the Meet the Press panel.
Here's a quotation, for example, from a recent article by William Ryan, a Harvard psychologist, who criticizes your report in The Nation. And this is what he writes, quote, "The implicit point is that Negroes tolerate promiscuity, illegitimacy, one-parent families, welfare dependency, and everything else that is supposed to follow." Now, that's the criticism he makes. of your report. Now, how do you answer those charges?
I can't. I'm not responsible for the fact that he can't read. As E. Franklin Frazier said, and I quoted from him at some length, there is a lot of evidence that the Negro middle-class family, when it gets its opportunity, gets a bearing, is, if anything, more stern, more rigid than most. But the evidence is simply clear. Negro Americans live like any other Americans, and when they're forced into the ghetto and forced into disorganization, they have no more better protections than anyone else.
I'd like to ask you one specific question, which the New York Times quotes you today as saying. You say that 44% of the children in Harlem are illegitimate. Now, how do you know that?
Those are statistics of the New York City Department of Health, sir. 10 health districts in central Harlem, the area which the great American sociologist Kenneth Clark described in his HRU report as having undergone a massive deterioration of the fabric of society and its institutions, and right under our prosperous noses that happened. That hasn't existed for 50 years. That's happened in the last 15 years in this America, and we've been sitting around thinking things have been getting better, and they haven't been getting better for those children. And I think I for one, if you see what people can face for the civil rights movement in the way of sheriffs, in the way of howling mobs, in the way of the disapproval of their entire society, well, I think I would hope certainly I'm willing to face the disapproval of a few white liberals from Boston who think I shouldn't raise the subject because it's impolite.
Mr. Novak.
Mr. Moynihan, your report, you say, quote, equality of opportunity almost ensures inequality of results, unquote. Are you proposing preferential treatment on the hiring of Negroes?
I believe this country owes the American Negro his back wages, yes.
Should the federal government support preferential treatment for Negroes, then?
I believe what President Johnson said in his Howard University speech. You cannot keep a man in chains for 3 centuries, then take the chains off and say suddenly, okay, you're free to run the race of life with anybody else. They have to be made, people have to be given the opportunity to compete with effective resources. And I believe that we should make a special effort.
When he positioned that Black women's unwed motherhood was the chief culprit of the intergenerational poverty perpetuating in Black families. Kim Kardashian, however, is protected by wealth and white womanhood, so she does not get the same stigma of being a single mother like many sociologists and the general population would contribute to Black women.
Kim Kardashian hates being a mom so much.
Interact with other human beings besides the children in your family all day long. We're great, I know, but you need some other human interaction.
Well, it's actually really funny just to watch her project so bad. It's also really sad. There's the scene where she's talking to Chloe and she's just like lighting into Chloe about how Chloe enjoys being at home with her children and like has a schedule.
Chloe has really been pissing me off lately, so we're going to Aspen and I just want to get some things off my chest and really talk to her and just clear the air before we go.
And Kim is sitting there just like screaming at her, go out, live your life, leave the house.
Live your life. Get out.
And Chloe's confused because she thought they were just gonna have a little chat. They're planning a trip to Aspen. They were gonna have a little family trip. She's chilling and she's like, wait a minute, why am I getting attacked right now?
Did Shy's hair and then I took the kids to school and like that was really it. I had no idea she was holding on to this. It sounds like you're dealing with a bunch of your own bullshit and you decided like harvest this and build up all this animosity towards me when this is a you problem. I swear you just want to project whatever you're going through on and take it out on me, and I've been handling it with me for so long. I'm not going to be here all day, so if you need to slap me or something, do it.
And this little whatever from Kim started because Kim sent her kids over to Chris's house to get them ready and send them off to school, and Chloe went over to their mom's house to help get the kids ready. And so Chloe calls Kim and it's like, hey, can I do Chicago's hair?
Really hard week, so I said to my mom, can you please watch my 2 little ones? I'll send them over and can you get them ready for school? Chicago put in this hair gel in her hair on the way out the door. And I was like, honestly, who cares? My mom can slip her hair in a ponytail, put it in a who cares? So Chloe FaceTimes me and is like, I had to go over to mom's and help her get your kids ready. And Chicago's hair, the hair gel, you were calling to not really ask me if you could do her hair, but to let me know that, no, I actually wanted her hair wasn't washed. If you don't care if I do, the next time I will not ask you and I'll just do the hair. But then also then if I do it, you're going to say, why did you touch that?
And Kim took so much offense to that and went off on this whole long rant. like 5 minutes of her projecting all of her insecurities about like not being there for her kids and not being a good mom and not having time for them.
Do you mind if I do her hair? Because it's nasty.
All I said was, do you mind if I do Chicago's hair? Because I didn't know if you are very particular.
I know her hair looks shitty. Thank you for reminding me that I didn't have the time to do her hair one night before bed and wash it.
I wasn't trying to shame you. I was trying to help you do your daughter's hair. And if you think I'm shaming you, what would I shame you?
For not having the time to wash her hair the night before.
No, that's your own insecurity. I never said anything about that.
I would have never let my kid go to bed with.
But I never said that. Did I ever say that?
It's just the tone.
Maybe you wouldn't have such a stick up your ass over hair gel if you lived your life a little bit. Like, it's just crazy.
And then you mix that in with her so obviously not being happy, having all of her kids, and being a single mom.
Like, you just need to get away from your kids for a pure getaway.
And don't get me wrong, I know that woman loves her kids. Like, you can tell she loves her kids, but you can also tell, like, she would much rather be working herself into the grave and flying across the country than sitting at home.
Like, talk about mom shaming. What the are you doing to me? It's just reverse mom shaming. You're shaming me for being a helicopter mom, or whatever you want to call me, and you're claiming I'm shaming you for not being more of a strict parent, or whatever you're claiming at this point, that you're not brushing Shy's hair, which obviously you brush Chicago's hair. There's a lot of gel.
You have you're just like fine in Hidden Hills, your kids rule your life. I have a schedule, I have somewhere to be. It's crazy.
It's so interesting to see the cracks starting to show with her. And I'm interested to see, like, as the kids get older and as they start to watch this and, like, just where things go.
It's like the start of a that's what you're going to be like, I don't want to be involved. I don't want to go on this trip with you because all you're going to do is pick on me. Honestly, you're such a bitch these days to me.
I mean, she doesn't want to go to Aspen now. Grow the up. That's like so ridiculous.
There is a difference between a mom who is single and a single mom. And I'm not saying it's not difficult to be a mom who is single at all. However, they're not the same. That's right, my love.
I'm not the only one that saw the post of Kim Kardashian. She was saying that she does not get any help from Kanye West to raise their kids. Welcome to Verified Tea. My name is Tiffany and I'm here to give you all the tea. Oh, Kim, she was recently on Zoe Winkler's podcast called What in the Winkler. She was talking about parenting and she was saying that, a lot of people are around her, but it still feels like she's doing stuff alone. She was pretty much saying that she's like afraid to say that actually because she feels like people are going to judge her because they'll be like, oh, you have all the resources to get nannies, babysitters, gayaka. But she was saying that that's just not the case. It feels like she's raising 4 children on her own. So what are y'all thoughts on this story?
Kim Kardashian called spending her birthday with her kids torture, and it hasn't gone over very well. On the most recent episode of The Kardashians, Kim reclined on momager Kris Jenner's couch and complained that she didn't get to spend her birthday by herself, which is all she really wanted. Instead, she was stuck doing what her kids wanted to do, watching YouTube unboxing videos and going to Color Me Mine. And it left her asking, whose birthday is it? Something most moms can probably identify with. Kris acted as the voice of reason, explaining in a confessional that part of parenting is putting your kids' needs ahead of your own, even on your birthday. Suck it up and do a little Color Me Mine, she said. And public opinion seems to be leading pretty heavily in favor of Kris's take on Kim's gripes, with many feeling like certain thoughts about parenting should probably be kept private, or at the very least not spoken in an extremely public forum where one's kids can easily hear them. Still, everyone, even superstar billionaires, deserves a break now and then from the daily grind of parenting. Being a mom is hard, even if you do have a team of nannies and a household staff, and more money than is conscionable for one lifetime on Earth, and think everyone else is lazy because they don't. I will never forgive her for this comment, will never not mention it whenever she comes up, and that's a promise from me to you. Kim's birthday complaints do touch on the larger issue of how imbalanced and unsustainable the demands of motherhood are. Moms are expected to show up as perfect parents at all times, without complaining, without having any personal needs outside of motherhood, or half the time even using the bathroom by themselves. Any way you slice it though, Kim Kardashian simply isn't like most other moms. And in this case, she seems to have landed once again on the wrong side of trying to be relatable. But while she may not have gained any new fans with this lament, she's certainly not alone about the way she feels about the unrelenting demands of being a mom.
Kim Kardashian is pretty much a single mom to her 4 kids. Kanye West, not around very much, according to a report. Her saying, I'm a single mom. I also just want to say, yes, she is a single mom, but I think I also just raise a heavy eyebrow. Anyone with around-the-clock staff, basically. being like, I'm just, such a single mom. It's such a different thing if you have full-time help. From a childcare perspective, I'm like, yeah, you're a single mom, but also you have access to resources like no one can imagine.
Yeah.
And help. And then I think there's also from just like parenting perspective where it's like, I am actually the only parent here.
Mm-hmm.
I am the only person who can answer questions about their dad or whatever. That is a huge responsibility.
I do feel for people who they don't have that partner, in those moments.
Mm-hmm.
And they're continually just like alone as the adult in the room.
Totally.
I feel for Kim in that way.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian opens up about the struggles of being a single parent. There are nights I cry myself to sleep. Being a single parent is just so difficult sometimes. There are nights where my favorite Lululemon pajamas are not enough to keep me from crying myself to sleep. And when I wake up at 11 a.m., it's even worse because she's already gone. A lot of people don't realize this, but when you have a personal chef preparing breakfast for your family and a chauffeur to take your kids to school in the morning, you miss out on so many moments. How was she this morning, Brunhilde? I made her omelet extra stiff. You can't give her any eggs. She's not allowed any saturated fats. You know this. It's just so difficult because there's a certain life I want for her, and it's so hard to deliver that when I'm not there. Sometimes the only moments of the day where I really get to talk to her is on the phone during her lunch. Did you like what you had for lunch today? What? There are times when North is wronged, and I really go into mama bear mode, and those are the moments where I really feel like I get to shine as a mother. I just want to know, in what world you think it's okay to serve my daughter her deconstructed avocado quail melt with brown avocado? Avocado naturally. No, I do not want your excuses. You go to the store and you get green avocados right now, or else you will be fired. It's moments like those where I really feel my passion and love for North come through. And those are the moments that keep me going.
Kim Kardashian and Kanye West have reached a settlement in their divorce. The agreement proposal includes joint custody, with Ye paying Kardashian $200,000 per month in child support. But neither will have to pay the other in spousal support. Both Kardashian and Ye will equally split the cost for their 4 kids' private security and private school, including college. Each will pay their own debts, and the two had a prenup and kept their property separate. Kardashian and Ye have been legally single since March, bringing their 8-year marriage to an end. And a trial was set for December 14th to work out issues between property and custody, but now attorneys are asking for a judge's approval of the terms Kardashian and Ye agreed on.
So in conclusion, I think that it's ironic that Kim K chose to have multiple with an emotionally unstable.
Sometimes Kanye will say to me, can I have approval over what you say about me on your show? And I'll say, well, you just talked about me in this song, this interview, and you didn't ask my permission. And I never say anything bad. I never say anything negative. If I say I'm exhausted, I feel guilty about that. I am exhausted.
For once, can everyone just get their shit together around me so I can lose it just once? I just want to lose it once. I want to have a bad day. And I can't. I can't even be overwhelmed and have a bad day because no one else has their shit together.
You're under a lot of stress, Kim, and I don't even think you realize the weight of the world is on your shoulders.
I just feel bad, and I don't know why I feel bad. And it's like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to be a part of this narrative. And it's like, when is this ever going to end? It never will. And I'm stuck with this for the rest of my life.
Man, while marriages do fail, Kim K has a slew of sisters and the financial means to create a system that works for her and her children. It's hard to empathize for someone who calls working class people lazy and tells them to get off their ass and work.
Get your fucking ass up and work. It seems like nobody wants to work these days. You have to surround yourself with people that want to work.
Poverty rates for single mothers are the highest in the country, but not because they are out of the workforce and subsisting on public benefits. Most of the 27 million women heading households with children are employed. Their poverty results from public policy failures, not their personal shortcomings, poor decisions, or rotten luck. A lot of working class people hide in the bathroom or take breathers. Ironically, they don't have the luxury to have a chef or even doula to step in. I think that it is a weird attempt for Kim K to be relatable, honestly. As Angela White once implied, If the Kardashians were white, they would be considered baby mamas. Yet Kim K has solidified herself through the proximity of black bodies and profit. As Nehra points out, to modify white supremacy with multiracial is the key to understanding the stakes of the Kardashian domestic empire as well as its anti-black violence. In short, they produce race reality and value for not the homogeneous project of the white human. And they do so by aesthetically and biologically incorporating selective, quote-unquote, soft variations on tropes of blackness, be it in the form of an ass implant, a cheekbone restructuring, or a mixed-race child. They endlessly play with race. What are your thoughts on this subject? Let me know down below. And thank you so much for listening to Books and Looks TV. I'll see y'all next time.